Hello and welcome to a playthrough of Custer's Last Stand, 150-year commemoration, a print and play game that I've designed. And there was a previous video, which you don't have to watch, but it covered the setup. And most of that had to do with preparing these forwards. So you might want to go watch that. It's pretty short. I did redo the forwards since I sort of revealed what they were. So just like if I were playing this normally, I don't know as Custard whether there are even forwards where the cavalry can cross the Little Bighorn River at these three locations. This one, there's always a 50-50 chance. There's always one forward and one dummy counter. So let's go ahead and get started. The goal here is to show the mechanics and the general flow of the game, but not teach the game. The rule book is available with all of the other print and play PDF files you can download for free from a Facebook group page called Steve's Game Design Diary. You can join the group, you can download the files, or the Vassal module, it's also there, and then quit the group. So you're not under any obligation if you're interested in playing this. I am looking for a publisher, but we're not there yet. First game. In the first turn of the first game, there's a couple things that are always true. This is the setup. The leader counter for Sitting Bull is not included in the chit draw. This could be in a cup. But I just typically have them face down. And Reno is always face up for the first turn, so Reno is always going to go first. And then I will basically touch on some of the other rules just as they come up. So, Reno basically is within range, and I should say that the way that the cavalry will win the game is they can either eliminate these 6 villager counters that are orange, or all of the leaders that have the names / initials on them of the Indian leaders. If they do, they have 15 turns to do that. If they don't, then they lose. Okay, so Reno effectively has had his chit pulled, revealed. He's going to go first. In order to fire and move in some combination, he has to expend a point on this cohesion track. So I'm going to move Reno over here from level 10 to 9. And that now allows him to do firing. He could move, but I don't want to get him ahead of Ben Teen too far. So he'll just be here in the historical spot of Reno's skirmish line. And he's going to fire on the villagers. So now I want to point out there's no difference between the black die and the white die. But normally you roll 5 dice when a unit is firing, except when charging, you get to roll an extra die. So I just typically, so I don't grab too many dice, typically would just roll all the white dice. So we're gonna do that. Reno is trying to get pairs of 5s and 6s to eliminate these. I roll the dice. Oh, and right off the bat, I have a pair of 5s and a 6. And the 4 is locked. Any 4s cannot be re-rolled. And now I have this die with a 1 on it, which I could potentially eliminate a second unit if I can pair up this 6. And that's worth pushing my luck to do. So I'm going to go ahead and spend another cohesion point to allows me to do the re-roll. I rolled this die. It came up a 1 again. So effectively I didn't make any change. I will do this again. You're not really limited to until you run out of these points. You can keep re-rolling. So another 1. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, now I got a 4. Well, the 4 is locked, so I can't re-roll even if I wanted to. This line on the cohesion track, if Reno had gone below into levels 5, 4, and 3, then he would have to roll a dice to see whether or not he passes his exhaustion check. And if he rolls the number that matching the level or lower, then he is not exhausted. So a 6, you'd always roll a number that's 6 or less, so you don't have to check until you fall behind that line, below that line. Okay, so Reno has finished, and the pair of 5s eliminates one of the 6 villagers. Okay, so now we take and we reveal randomly another one of these leader counters, and this time it's lame white man. So I didn't cover this at the beginning, but for the first 4 turns, it's possible that the turn itself will end before all of the Indian leaders have had a chance to have turned over. And the way you do this is you just check at the beginning of the turn, are there some Indians that haven't activated? If so, then that condition is met and the turn will end as soon as all of the cavalry leaders have turned over. Okay, so we got at least one Indian leader, lame white man, has been revealed. And there's no cost of cohesion points yet. Just the first thing we do is we consult a chart and see if lame white man is even at the battle. So this is in keeping with the theme. Custer does not know how many Indians he's facing that day. There might be more or less than there were historic, well, not more necessarily, but there could be far less than were there at battle historically. And we determined that first by rolling this die. And if it had come up a 1, then lame white man would not be in the battle. But it's not a 1, so because it's a 5, what we do is instead we consult this chart and we see that he will start with 4 more of these discs that will be added to his leader disc. So we have lame white man, and then we roll the same die, second die, to see which of these 4 spaces he will appear on. A 1, 2, it's here, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Okay, we roll a 2, so lame white man will start here. Now another rule is that the Indians can actually pass through the village. It's almost like that space doesn't count for movement. So even if he had started here, he could move from here into this space, and lame white man is going to move from here into this space because it's only 1 away, and by doing that, it's considered a charge because he's ending up in the same space with Reno. So in order to do the moving, whether it's a charge or not, and then firing, we will have to do the same thing where lame white man will first move his cohesion track from the 10 to the 9. So that allows him to do the move and the firing. All right, he charged, so we are going to add the black die. We roll. He again is trying to get pairs of 5s and 6s. And there's a 5 and a second 5. So that's at least 1 pair. And then we don't have any 4s, but we do have a pair of 1s. And pairs of 1, these are all bad for the attacker. But generally there's a way you can, they won't become effective because you'll just expend cohesion points to break these up. Now, in this case, we can just spend 1 cohesion point to roll all of these, hoping to get another pair of 5s or 6s. So lame white man will move from 9 to 8, re-roll all of these dice. Ooh, so we got 3 4s. They're all locked. And with only a single die, it's not possible to make up another pair. So lame white man's turn is over, but we did eliminate one of these units from Reno. Now, the way the game works is the last disc to be removed is the one that has the leader in it. And if you are caught with a pair of 1s, that's one way where the leader personality can be killed, even though the unit itself isn't destroyed, and you just turn it over, there's an X through the thing. So that's not likely to happen unless you've got your cohesion way down here to the bottom and you can't afford any more rerolls. Okay, so moving right along, we will now reveal the next leader. Okay, this time it's 2 Moon. Okay, so 2 Moon, this one doesn't have any additional disc. It just starts. There were lone scouts up here. 2 Moon historically wasn't here, but it's kind of a nod. 2 Moon, the leader, was at the battle, and I just to stay consistent, have a leader name, I associated his name with this group of Indian braves up here. Okay, so 2 Moon is going to use 1 cohesion from 10 down to 9. That lets him move and fire. Now, one of the rules is that you cannot charge if you would have less of your color disc than the other. So 1 to 4, he cannot charge even though he's within distance, but he can still fire and he'll still roll 5 dice. So 2 Moons will do that. He's going to not charge, but having paid to do the firing and or moving, he will roll the 5 dice against Custard. Okay, we got a 6 and a 4, which is locked. We got a 5, and then we got a 3 and a 2. So 2 Moons will try and get this pair of 5 and or 6s. Okay, so we move this to pay for a reroll, and I got a 5, and then I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can maybe get a 6. It's a 1. We'll try one more time. And it's a 3. Okay, I'm going to, I don't know that this would be the best strategy, but just to show you how the exhaustion rule works, I will go ahead and move this here and try and get a 6. All right, a 3, we'll do one more. Okay, another 3. Okay, we'll stop there. So Custard would, under normal circumstances, lose one of these. However, Custard has a decision to make. Custard's unit has these Custard luck tokens, which is for dice manipulation. So he can expend one of these, and he will, and in a defensive mode, he can basically change any number he wants to a 4. So once 2 Moons announces he's done rolling, then Custard makes a decision whether he's going to spend any Custard luck tokens that he has available to him. He does. He changes this 5 to a 4 and effectively breaks up the pair. So Custard will not lose anything, but he has less luck tokens remaining. Now, 2 Moons, because he's below this chart, is going to have to roll to see whether he's exhausted. And if he rolls a 1, 2, 3, or 4, he is not exhausted. But he rolled a 6, so we put this on 2 Moons, and 2 Moons, because he's exhausted, next turn can only do 1 action, which is to do regrouping, and in that situation, will happen next turn, next video. This will move from the, it moves 3, you add 3 to it, so it would go 5, 4, up to 7. And then he would automatically not have to check because he's over here, and then he can do the other actions as normal. Okay, so now we've talked about exhaustion. Okay, so we're going to reveal the next one of these leaders, and now we have Benteen. Okay, so Benteen is too far back to do checking for the forward. You have to be basically in a space on either side of where the forwards are. But we'll move to Reno's Hill, which gives him a defensive advantage, may come up next turn against Indian attacks. And then he can also, if he's still there, can take a cohesion point to check this this chit to see whether or not it's a forward. Okay, so that was Benteen. He went from 10 to 9 to do the move and firing. He didn't charge. He's going to roll 5 dice. We get 2 4s, which are locked, and then we have 3 3s. If we were just to stop, that would be bad. The penalty would be he would go down to cohesion point. So we're going to want to break that up, and more importantly, we want to try and, he's firing on lame white man, we want to try and get still pairs of 5s and 6s. So Benteen will move or spend another cohesion point for the reroll. Okay, we got a 5 and a 3 and a 1. We'll spend another to reroll the 3 and the 1. Got a 3 and a 2. Let's spend again And there we go, we rolled a 5. So it was worth all the re-rolling. A single 1 is not a problem, you just take pairs. Okay, so lame white man will lose this disc due to fire from Benteen. Okay, now we will turn over this. So now Yates has moved, or will move. Okay, so Yates, he will move from here to here. And if you haven't already guessed, the maximum you can move is 1 space. This puts him in position to check for a fort here next turn, and he's within range to fire at 2 moons. So we'll roll the 5 dice. Yates, to fire and move, spends the first cohesion point. We roll. Okay, we got a pair of 5s, and we got a 3 and a pair of 2s. Again, a pair of 2s is bad. He would actually lose a disc if we stopped. So we're going to, even though he's got enough to eliminate 2 moons, we're going to, Yates will spend another cohesion point to roll, doesn't cost me anymore. We'll roll both of these dice. I mean, maybe we'll even get, no, we'll roll all 3 of these dice. Maybe we'll get a pair of 6s. Okay, so a pair of 6s wouldn't have been any more. The first pair would have done it, but at least this way we broke up the pair of 2s. Okay, so we stop at that point. We don't have to check for exhaustion because we haven't crossed that line, and Yates has eliminated the 2 moons group. So we'll put that over there, we'll put that over there, and we can go ahead and take this off. So 2 moons will not be doing the regrouping action next turn because he's been eliminated. Okay, so that goes there. Now, we're getting to that point where already Yates and Reno and Benteen have moved. So if Custard, who's the only one who hasn't done anything yet, gets pulled, then we'll stop, even though, well, let's see. So this time it's Yellow Nose gets pulled, and Yellow Nose is going to see whether or not Yellow Nose is even in the battle. We rolled a 1, so Yellow Nose is not going to appear in the battle. We can take this off, and we can even remove Yellow Nose's counter. Now we flip this. Okay, this is Custard. So we've now met the condition that all 4, Reno, Yates, Benteen, and Custard, have been flipped. So as soon as Custard moves, the turn will end before either Crazy Horse or Gaul will have had a chance on turn 1 to do anything. So Custard really isn't within range of anything anymore, so Custard will simply move into the space with Yates. So we'll just put him there. He doesn't fire. He still would have expended a cohesion point just to make the move. And then turn 1 ends, and we then do basically cleanup. Now, after turn 1, Reno's is treated like any of the other leaders. So he's going to go face down and or put in the cup and shuffle with the others, as well as Sitting Bull. Okay, so imagine these are all being randomized for pulling for turn 2. Of course, we would move this over. The restriction of Reno checking for a ford was limited to turn 1, so on turn 2 he can. But on turn 2 we still have some Indians who have not activated, so it's possible that turn 2 will end before all the Indians have activated as well. And let's see, that is pretty much all there is to clean up at the end of turn 1. So I'll do another video where we will continue from this point, and then you can see what happens going forward. Thanks for watching.